humans are now hackable animals. You know, the whole idea that humans have, you know, they have this soul or spirit and they have free will and nobody knows what's happening inside me. So whatever I choose, whether in the election or whether in the supermarket, this is my free will, that's over. We have all this still myth of free will, that everything we choose is of our own free will. And this is a myth that served us well for a couple of centuries. But now it's becoming dangerous. Previously, surveillance was mainly above the skin. Now it's going under the skin. I think maybe in a couple of decades when people look back, the thing they will remember from the COVID crisis is this is the moment when everything went digital. And this was the moment when everything became monitored. That we agreed to be surveyed all the time. Not just in authoritarian regimes, but even in democracies. And maybe most importantly of all, this was the moment when surveillance started going under the skin.
Shalom. All praises, honor, and glory unto the Most High, Yahweh Ba'asham Yahweh Ba'asham Raka Kwadash. Double honors to the elders and the apostles of the great millstone, and salutations to all sincere Akim. And this is your brother Abawan back again with another video. Through the spirit and power of Yahweh Ba'asham Yahweh Ba'asham Raka Kwadash, all praises and glory is due. And this is going to be a response to the video that I put up before this one, which is basically Surveillance Under the Skin by Noah Yuval Harari, right? And it's just another example of the gradualism towards the MOTB and Esau declaring their ultimate agenda, which is just like Noah Yuval Harari said, surveillance under the skin. It can't be more clear than that, okay? And in his opening statement, he said, and let's go back to that, and I hope you can hear this audio.
Are now hackable animals.
So like I didn't get that clearly, so let's play that again.
Humans are now hackable animals. Humans are now hackable animals.
And that was his opening statement. Humans are now hackable animals, alright? And this is the method in which Esau Edom uses in order to hack the people. When we say gradualism towards the MOTB, gradualism towards World War III, that is basically the hacking that we're talking about. Words like gradualism, desensitization, it is all a part of this right here, social engineering, all right? Social engineering. And that's the watchword in this situation, because, and this is something that I just recently saw happen, right, in the news cycles, where you have multiple tech CEOs being appointed as lieutenants in the US Army. I believe Palantir, OpenAI, and so on and so forth. And I can't really get that information right now. One of the brothers posted it up and showed that you have multiple tech CEOs that have been, multiple people that are connected to the tech industry have been appointed as lieutenants in the US Army. So let's get that. Let's see if I can get that. Here it is. Army bringing in big tech executives as lieutenant colonels, right? And the reason why this is happening is because they are slowly beginning to see the military industrial complex merge with big tech, right? And this is what the men of the Lord have been telling you will happen, right? When the MOTB starts to be pushed, obviously, naturally, every single member of the US Army will be mandated to take the C-HIP, okay, before they can serve. So let's get this. Army bringing in big tech executives as lieutenant colonels, right? And that is going into the multiple different executives in different tech firms that were brought in as lieutenant colonels, right? So four senior executives of tech giants like Meta and Palantir are being sworn into the Army Reserve as direct commissioned officers and the unusually high rank of lieutenant colonel as part of a new program to recruit private sector experts to speed up tech adoption, right? Because like I said, and said this in a previous video, that the face of war that the new face of war is different from anything that we have ever seen on the earth. All right, that's the reason why you see the military industrial complex merging up with big tech, because the war that will be waged, or the wars that will be waged on the earth, are completely different than anything that we have ever seen before. Now you will have high-tech drones, right? Whether it is your flying drones or your land terrestrial drones in the form of these robot dogs that will be moving around with machine guns strapped to their backs. These are the new forms or the new methods of war that are being prepared by Esau Edom. Let's keep going into it. That's just a part of the reason why these tech CEOs are being set up. The main reason, of course, is because of the MOTB, okay? And basically what the MOTB is, just like Noah Yuval Harari said, surveillance under the skin. Because when Noah Yuval Harari talks about surveillance under the skin, what do you think he means, right? You watched the video at the beginning of this, you heard every single thing he said. What do you think he's referring to when he says that? And like we have said, right, starting from the elder apostles on down, this is Esau's ultimate goal: total control. All right, so let's keep going into this article. The Army calls the program to recruit Silicon Valley Executives Detachment 201. The Army's Executive Innovation Corps, one of the executives, Andrew Bosworth of Meta, posted on X that the 201 moniker was a nod to an HTTP coding command in which a 201 response indicates the creation of a new programming resource. The reserve's new lieutenant colonels are Shyam Sankar, Chief Technology Officer (CTO) of Palantir; Bosworth, Chief Technology Officer of Meta; Kevin Weil, Chief Product Officer of OpenAI; and Bob McGrew, an advisor at Thinking Machines Lab and the former Chief Research Officer for OpenAI. Each of the four who were set to be sworn in on Friday arrived with decades of experience in some of Silicon Valley's largest and most innovative companies, and with levels of extraordinary personal wealth that careers in the industry often amass. Right, so you have these four individuals being appointed as lieutenant colonels in the U.S. Army. And the reason, of course, because of their expertise in big tech and especially in artificial intelligence technology, right? And this is just more towards your gradualism towards the MOTB, right? Because now everybody's minds are focused on World War III with what's going on between Iran and Israel. And as we know, man, Esau Edom is still making moves in the background and setting up different situations in the background in order to push his NWO, right, the Great Reset. And that's exactly what Noah Yuval Harari said, that hey, when you look back, right, of course he said 100 years from now, which we know that that's false, man, because like the scriptures say, the heathen imagine a vain thing. All right, why do the heathen rage and the people imagine a vain thing? Right, looking 100 years into the future and still believing that we will be in this kingdom, in this earth age, is obviously a false ideology, a vain thing, because that's not come to pass, right? But like he said, that basically you will remember 2020 being the catalyst for a more digital age, right? And that digital age is basically a buzzword for Esau Edom, implementing the new industrial revolution that will ultimately lead to his Great Reset and his NWO. Because let's remember that the Great Reset was set up in response to the CV-19, right? The situation that happened on the earth during that 2020 period, okay, that basically that the earth was that basically, that's when you had the WEF come out, right? Klaus Schwab and this Noah Yuval Harari demon, man, come out and say, oh, we need a great reset to prevent the situation that happened in 2020, right? And this is all a part of the gradualism of Esau Edom pushing for, right, towards, basically just that, okay, the great reset. But let's keep going into this. So this is the definition of the word social engineering: the use of centralized planning in an attempt to manage social change and regulate the future development and behavior of a society, right? And this is exactly what Esau Edom is doing on a global scale all over the earth. Like I said, that's where you get all these your different ideologies that Esau pushes from, whether it's your desensitization or your gradualism or your Hegelian dialectic, right? Problem, reaction, solution, right? Or your never let a good crisis go to waste, basically. I don't really know the best way to use the best term. There's no phrase or terminology for that. But all these things, right? Esau Edom is using them in order to push for change, right? In order to, basically bring in his NWO, right? His own enterprise, to set himself up as the most high, Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. And that is what these devils are pushing for. Ultimately, that's what Noah Yuval was talking about when he said, oh, human beings can be hacked now. This is basically speaking of the witchcraft that Esau Edom has set up on the earth, right? And let's get this precept. Okay, let's get this precept. The covering cast that Esau Edom has put on the earth, the deception that Esau Edom has put all over the earth. Let's get that. So this is the answer right here, right? So this is the book of Isaiah 25, and I'll start from verse 7. And he will destroy in this mountain the face of the covering cast over all people, and the veil that is spread over all nations, right? And that is basically this. The social engineering is basically the deception of Esau Edom over all people and over all the nations. And as it is written, there is no enchantment against Jacob. So we that are of the elect, right, we are not ignorant of Satan's devices, and we know exactly what Esau Edom is preparing to do on the earth, and we know exactly what Esau Edom has set up, and the different tactics, right, and crafts, right, the methods that he will use in order to push his agenda, towards the four corners of the earth and all over the earth. And this is what we are seeing, a good example of that with this surveillance under the skin. And the surveillance under the skin, of course, is referring to none other than the MOTB, which will be a monitoring system, because what it will do is monitor all your biometric and personal data, which is why you have this push for a digital ID, right? Because the ultimate goal of Esau is to implant the digital ID not in your phone or in your watch or in your wristband or in some other form of digital storage, but rather to be under the skin by way of the RFID microchip. Okay, and this is like I said, and this is all social engineering, gradualism, by slowly bringing and implementing these things right on the earth. It's basically the idea is to lull the Babylonians, the people of this world, to sleep by slowly implementing all these things. And even Noah said it as well. I think it was in a different video, but he basically said that that the people would be far more willing, right, to accept extreme changes like this in times of crisis, like for example the CV19, which shows you that ultimately Esau Edom used that in order to further his own goal and his own agenda, right? That the people would be more willing in a crisis to accept extreme changes, right? And these kind of changes that they normally would not accept. and the reason why is because of the extremeness of the situation. So it clearly shows you that, and it's just like the apostles and the elders on that have been saying, that Esau is definitely preparing another crisis that he is setting up in order to use to push this MOTB. All right, and that is something that you should be looking out for, because Esau is basically preparing another crisis, another situation on the earth in order to use to push this MOTB, because these devils understand that, hey man, they have to use, tactics like this, right, in order to push their wicked agenda forward. Like I said, the Hegelian dialectic: problem, reaction, solution. And that is the time that we're in right now. And all this, of course, is being done for the sake of control, total control, right? Because this is what Esau Edom is looking for. Let's get that preset. So that should be the book of Second Thessalonians, the second chapter. Okay. So this is the book of Second Thessalonians 2, and I'll start from verse 3. Let no man deceive you by any means, for that day shall not come, except there come a falling away first, and that man of sin be revealed, the son of perdition. Right, and the falling away, of course, refers to our people falling away from the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding of the Most High, Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. And the man of sin, the son of perdition, has been revealed, Esau Edom, the so-called red man. Now 2 Thessalonians 2 verse 4, who opposeth and exalteth himself above all that is called power, or that is worshipped, so that he, as the Most High, sitteth in the temple of the Most High, showing himself that he is the Most High. Remember ye not that when I was yet with you, I told ye these things? Right. And who has put themselves in the throne of the Most High, Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, showing himself that he is the Most High, Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. Right? Esau Edom, the so-called red man, because we know that the Heavenly Father, okay, the Most High Yahweh, and our Lord Yahweh Shai were not Edomites, okay, we're not pale-fleshed, we're not leprous of skin, but they are dark-skinned Israelites people, okay. If our Lord Yahweh Shai came on the, it's like if the Most High Yahweh came up on the earth to look like a man, he would look like Jake, okay, dark-skinned, Israelites, right, woolly hair and the woolly beard as well, right. And that's why I said, like, I quoted that precept, for Satan disguised himself, right, as an angel of the light. And that's exactly what Esau Edom has done, that he showed himself that he is the Most High, Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. And that's why the vast majority of the earth is worshipping plantation Christianity, right, and by extension also worshipping the system, the system of America, Babylon the Great, because majority of the people that are on the earth will eventually take that sea heap, man. It's going to be one of those things where you're going to find out that the majority of the people that are on the earth are ultimately going to receive the mark of the beast, okay, and take that sea heap, because that is what is coming upon the earth. And you already know Esau Edom is going to make sure that, when that sea heap is being pushed and is being implemented, that the vast majority of the people, just like the CV19, the Jabsi nation, right, the Jews, ultimately majority of the people that are on the earth will receive and take that, okay. And that's what's coming, man. Through the spirit, that's what's coming, man. Through the spirit and power, Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. And we see, right, the intention of Esau Edom with this. So I don't think you need any more evidence to show you that we are in those times right now, all right, and what the MOTB actually is than this. When one of the prime devils out here in the WEF basically tells you that, the surveillance will be under your skin, right, you will receive that mark, because that's ultimately what it is, under the skin, right, either in the right hand or in the forehead, right. That's where your Neuralink technology comes in as well. And that is where the surveillance will begin. And it tells you, of course, that they'll be monitoring every single aspect of your, not just physiology, but also your identity as well. Okay, and that is what is coming upon the earth. This is the intention of Esau Edom, right? That he has set up. Okay, basically a surveillance, basically a form of surveillance that is internalized within you, and that's basically what the MOTB is, man. You know how to allow Esau Edom, the so-called red man, more control over the people on the earth. Okay, and that's why this technology will exist, right? So let me end it right there. So with that, once again, all praises, honor and glory unto the Most High Yahweh Ba'Sham Yahushai Ba'Sham Raka Kwadash Wa Abad Babal Shalom. And through the Spirit, I hope you are calm and you are quite edified. Shalom.